Alright, so this is part 2, and it's about hospitalization. If you have ulcerative colitis or Crohn's, I'm sure you know all about it. And it does not get any more pleasant. Like, the best part about going into the hospital is knowing that you will at least be taken care of. But other than that, I hate being in a hospital. And the people that you meet sometimes is just totally random, and if you get a roommate who keeps you up all night, my God. So this past time when I was in the hospital, God, I couldn't wait to get out of there, because the person who was in the room next to me, I was in a room by myself, because since I've had C. diff infections before, I get, like secluded for precautionary measures, just to make sure I don't have a C. diff infection again. So, but the woman who's in the room next to me, like, I'm trying to sleep and get rest for a colonoscopy and a scope in my stomach, which I've had my stomach pumped before, but it's so unpleasant to me. And I'd been throwing up for like a week straight. Like, I didn't want to do it. So they had me on meds to like help with anxiety, and I'm trying to go to sleep. And this woman who's in the room next to me is like going crazy, talking about how she doesn't want somebody to come and prick her finger and get checked. Anyway, they called security on her, and I got so angry at some point during the night that I wanted to go and tell her to go to sleep. Some of us, I'm not even gonna go there, but she was just way out of line, and she was eventually taken off of the ward, so whatever. But she's just one of the many joys of being in the hospital and being hospitalized. I remember my first hospitalization, it was actually from asthma, but I had a weird roommate then. She had all her friends up there, and there's some boyfriend drama. And then back in 2007, when I was hospitalized 3 times, there was I had this one roommate who, God, she had pelvic inflammatory disease, and I can't remember if that's communicable. But yeah, she was telling me how her boyfriend, who came up there every day, gave her that disease, and they didn't know. So like, I'm going through this unfolding drama because she had just found out that she had it, and oh God, it was so bad. I felt so bad for her. We would stay up all night talking about it. Oh. And then when I was hospitalized because of that really bad allergic reaction to sulfasalazine, my roommate was like a homeless woman. And she came with like all of her belongings, and she had her friend who's homeless too, and they were talking about like, the politics and whatnot of them being like homeless. It was so weird, because I had had a spinal tap a couple days before. They were trying to figure out what was wrong with me. Couldn't figure it out. And so what actually happened, okay, keep in mind I'm anemic, is that my spine, the injection site, does not, clot the way it was supposed to. So for like a day or 2, I was leaking spinal fluid. I was in excruciating pain. And these people are like in the room next to me. I'm like, I feel like I'm dying. And they won't shut up. They won't stop. And then one time I was in a room with this older woman, and she was nice, but I remember getting into a really heated argument with my husband over the phone about my frustration about being in the hospital. And like 5 minutes after I hung up, she comes over and she gives me her advice, which I didn't really mind. But you gotta admit, it's awkward to be getting advice like that, after you've had what you thought was gonna be a private conversation. So yeah, that's been my experience. But I do have some tips for, if your disease is pretty unstable, it's chronic, here's my advice. First of all, pack a hospital bag. Keep it in the closet in case something happens. You might want to eventually switch stuff out, put some books in there, because you don't want to be more of a, I don't know, that's my opinion. I don't want to be more of a burden on the people who are going to be running back and forth getting me stuff. So I try to keep a hospital bag packed. This past time I was going to pack real quick before, but I couldn't. I told my husband, it was like 4 or 5 in the morning. I was like, I gotta go to the hospital now. And that's just what it was. But yeah, I do usually keep a hospital bag packed, at least with like underwear. They give you underwear in the hospital, but I still like to keep, you know, a bag packed with underwear, at least maybe a book or so, just so that I have something and my husband doesn't have to worry about it. So anyway, the battery died. So that's my advice for you know, getting ready or being prepared for what I think are inevitable hospital stays. Just have a bag packed already with, you know, what you consider essential items, because I mean, to be fair, the hospital has pretty much everything that you'll need, even down to underwear. But just to make yourself like more comfortable, just already have your items instead of getting there and you're waiting for the nurse or the medical assistant, you know, whoever's on the floor, you know, having to wait for them to bring you like stuff that you need. So that's my advice on hospital stays. I don't really know how to tell you to deal with, you know, some of the weird people that you get thrown together with in the hospital, you know, like the one woman who was next to me this past time. I wanted to go out there and tell her about herself, but then I had to think and reconsider things and remember that, you know, security is already out there trying to talk her down. I go out there, I'm gonna get put out too, and then we're really gonna have a problem. So I'm sure that some of you already know all about this and the interesting people that are in the hospital. So anyway, I'm gonna end this video, and part 3, I guess, is going to be about coping with the disease and managing stress, some stress management strategies that I have. How effective are they? I mean, it's better than nothing. So I'll see you guys in the next video.